Welcome to the Cups Mission Podcast, where we share powerful stories of how God is moving by rescuing families and transforming families in the Dominican Republic, Malawi, or Mexico. Every episode, you'll hear stories that happen throughout the globe and how you are able to connect those stories with the truth of God's Word. Whether you're a longtime supporter or just discovering who we are, we're so glad you're here. Let's step into what God is doing through Cups Mission. Welcome to the Cups Mission Podcast. My name is Steven Schubert, and today we have the wonderful opportunity to have our founder here, Mike Williams. Let him have a chance to share his heart. Let him share the things that he's been able to see in the Dominican this summer, and just get a chance to hear what ways God has moved for him this past summer. So, Mike, I just want to ask, what have you seen this year in the Dominican? How has this Dominican been for you compared to other years in the past, and this summer been in general? And I would just love to hear that today.
What an amazing summer we just saw. Every year I am totally amazed at what God is doing. Every year I stand at the back of our Bible school classes and I see how that they have doubled and tripled in size. I look at the leadership and I realize, oh, I remember that kid who's now the leader. That kid was in the Bible schools 6, 7, and 8 years ago. And literally, I have a hard time not just crying. I when you because you see the hand of God. I have friends that have worked in places and they haven't seen conversions in years and years. Tough countries. They're in tough situations. But God has just consistently given us kids whose lives have been changed, totally transformed. Their families have been changed because of the power of God, the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ that changes lives. And that just I'm always just blown away, and I always just say, Lord, thank you. It's good to be a part of something that works.
Absolutely. I mean, you just from where Cups has started and where Cups is now is, I mean, it's a night and day difference. It's amazing. It's something to be thankful about. But I mean, it's just, oh my gosh. I mean, for me, only being here 2 years, I can already see the growth that's there. I mean, it's just more than I could put into words as well. Yeah.
You know, I remember that first time when my wife and I flew in there with our family. This is after we had committed to going there, so we had been there before. But when we got on that American Airlines flight and you're realizing, wow, those wheels, you just heard them clink under the plane, and you're on your way. There's no turning back. What you have is in a bunch of bags under the plane, and to go down there having no idea what we were going to do. We didn't have any idea. I mean, we didn't go to school to be missionaries. We didn't have, a mission background or anything like that. We just knew God had called us there and we were supposed to go. We were supposed to say yes. And so that's what we did. And so to realize we get off the plane, we buy a vehicle and we rent a little apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, God just kept showing up.
Yeah.
Those early days of getting in the van in the morning, a team, it was my wife and I. My kids would stay home and do their homeschool stuff at the apartment. We had a helper, Luis Abreu, who was with us, who was our translator and helper, and we were teaching him English as he was teaching us Spanish. And we would just say, Lord, what do you want us to do today that can rescue a kid, that can change somebody's life? And so we went from there, and so when you see it now, it's just amazing. Stephen, a pastor said something to me a while back. He was on a trip with his associate pastor, and they came down, and it was just an exploratory trip.
Yeah.
So they're just what's going to happen with our team, and they have since been down a couple of times. But the associate pastor said, hey, Mike, we have never been to a mission that was this successful, that we were seeing this many things happen, that has grown so quickly. And there's so many, the people on the ground, you have 15 full-time staff workers here. And not just here, but you're in Malawi and you're in Mexico City. Um, Mike, I'm not sure that you really need us to be a partner with you,
Yeah.
which is crazy because let me tell you, the more successful you are, the more partners you need. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the way it is. But I love what the senior pastor said. He said, "But Mike, here's the deal: we need to be a part of something successful. We have been supporting missions for years and years, and we never see any growth. We need to be part of this mission because we need to know that we're doing something that is working, that is successful, that lives are being changed, people are being transformed, and because we all want to give to something that we know matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to know that, wow, what I did today made a difference in this world. I know very few people who don't feel that way in their life.
No, I mean, it's a difference between, something that's superficial and something that truly, I mean, fulfills you, and it's fulfilling to give to a sort of thing like this. Yeah.
Even if you're, let's run a weird scenario here, Stephen. Even if you are sitting in a job situation, okay? Let's say you're working a job, a regular job. I'm not talking about being a missionary in a foreign country, okay? That's a whole different level of commitment and input there. But you're just working a job here and you're going, oh, do I really matter? Well, here's the neat thing. When you look at your involvement in missions, when you look at your involvement in successful missions, and the fact that you are truly having an impact, you yourself are impacting something there, then it changes the way you go to work. Because you're not just sitting behind the screen in the cubicle going, oh, another day of drudgery so that I can have a next week of drudgery.
Mm-hmm.
You can go, you know what? 10, 12% of what I did in this hour meant that a kid got fed today.
Absolutely.
A few pennies of my hour went to make sure that somebody in Malawi had access to a medical clinic. We were just downstairs in a meeting and we were looking at the Malawi clinic and realizing that we're able to serve somewhere in the neighborhood of 36,000 people
Wow.
out of this clinic every year. And that the Malawi government clinics come to us because the Malawi government clinics don't have the supplies that we do. That happens because people say, hey, I'll support the clinic for $5 a month.
Yeah.
And you might go, hold it, Mike, how important can $5 a month be? Do you realize that because of the way we're able to do things, out of 36,000 people, we can do that for $5 will help 5 people. Wow. Isn't that cool to know? I help 5 people.
5, I mean, that's less than a cup of coffee you can go get right now somewhere.
That's right. And if you're like me, that coffee isn't going to help your heart any at all. So
that coffee will be here and gone within a moment, but 5 people helped that's significant.
Let's talk about coffee for just a minute, okay, if you don't mind, while we're here.
We got the time.
We got the time. Some of your folks know that I've had some heart conditions over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I had to stop completely 13 years ago, I had to stop drinking all caffeine beverages. And I know now your generation, and you and I are a few generations apart.
I got a little bit of a problem with caffeine.
You look over here and see this old guy on this side of the microphone, and I look over there and go, I can't even see that guy on the other side of the microphone. But, you guys love your coffee, and I understand that, and I remember loving my coffee too. And people say, how do you survive without caffeine? You know what? Let me give you the lowdown on this, okay? For those first 6 months, it was horrible. I realized that I had an addiction to caffeine. Okay, I think it's one of those. It's an allowable Christian addiction. You know what I'm saying? But it
gray
does.
area.
Gray. For me, it was black with lots of sugar. But if you want to call it gray, that's fine.
Close enough.
But what happened is after about 6 months of getting off of caffeine, now I don't wake up dragging. I don't wake up going, oh, I got to have a cup of coffee if I'm going to function. No, I get out of bed at 5:30 in the morning, ready to greet the world, ready to go. Let's get up and go. I do some of my most creative stuff in the morning and do it because I've taken my body off of the caffeine.
Yeah.
And so as much as when you're on it, just keep doing your crack there, buddy. Okay. I'm telling you.
Christian addiction.
So, but let me tell you that getting off the coffee might change your world.
No, I hear getting up at 5:30 and I'm like, oh, that sounds dreadful for somebody my age. And then
right.
I'm like, maybe one day I'll learn the truth that, I don't need that, but maybe in 30 years or something like that.
Well, now I go to bed early too, though. See, I go to bed every night by at least 12:30 at night. And I'm not one who needs, as I get older, I need less and less sleep.
Yeah.
It's just, pretty soon I'm going to be getting up yesterday. That's going to be the situation.
Just, no sleep at all yesterday.
Hey, let me tell you a neat story that took place this summer.
Okay.
A couple of neat stories, but we were out on the streets working with the girls in the street. We're headed back to the truck. And a guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, Mike, do you recognize me?" And you know how people say that. And you feel bad going, "Nope, I've never seen you before in my life."
Yeah, you gotta be like, "Hey, no, yeah, I've seen you before."
And so you do that. You go, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you look so familiar."
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm 63. I don't always get the names there. But it was one of those where I felt like I knew him. And I know that where we're in downtown Sosua. We're in the trafficking area. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the barrio. This is the poor section here. He said, and he was very specific. He said, "Mike, I used to be a shoe shine boy on the streets." Now understand that the shoe shine boys on the streets are the male prostitutes. They're the little boys that are hired by the perverts, and they walk around with shoe shine kits so that there's a reason for them to be the dignity of not just walking around. And they go in the alleyways. Tragic life. These are kids who are dirt poor, who are living in the shadows, living behind the dumpsters. He said, "Mike, in 2017, you prayed for me." Now this is 225 that he's telling me this.
Yeah.
Okay, this is this summer, 2025. It was in 2017, I met you out here, and you prayed for me that summer a couple of times. I'm off the street. Look at me now. And here he is now, 17, 18 years, 8 years later.
Yeah.
And he's working a job and he's surviving and his life has been changed. Why? Because a bunch of people jumped on a plane, flew down to the Dominican Republic, joined me. We got in a truck. We went out onto the streets of the Dominican and we prayed for little kids. Now tell me how you could replace that kind of impact in your life. Tell me what you could do that could go, wow, praying and working with a little kid on the street, and now his life has changed and he's in business and he's out of that. And just the fact that he survived it without AIDS. Wow, that's the protection of God.
Absolutely.
And to be a part of one of those teams where we're praying with those kids, man, it's amazing.
It is. I mean, going down there and I don't know anybody who doesn't go that's not one of the big highlights of their week. Just being able to see, well, in the sense of that be able to pray for these people and show them that they're not we're there for them. We want to help them kind of sense. Yeah.
Exactly. Just to be able to walk up to people who are willing to accept love.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It's harder to minister to people in the States.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm honest with that. Although I will say that, we've already prayed this morning. We've already prayed with two people in two different places. Okay,
Hey, praise
but
God.
where do I learn to do that? I
Yeah.
learned to do it in the Dominican Republic. That's why
Yeah.
I'm comfortable doing it here. And you've been out with me. We don't go out to eat without praying for the waitress and
No, absolutely.
not just for, but with the waitress.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the way it is. But down there it's just different. People are looking for hope.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trusting in the government's going to come through for me, or if I can get this president elected, everything's going to be fixed, or if I can get signed up for this program. They are hopeless without Jesus, and Jesus brings them hope. Their word for it is esperanza. It's a beautiful word, esperanza.
Okay, yeah.
And it's hope.
Yeah.
And so when we come in and we talk with them and they share with us their heart and their pain and their brokenness, then we're able to pray for them, and they're clinging to life. They're clinging for a future to our prayers and the message that comes with it. And man, it feels really good to be a part of that. And anybody who's been on our team knows what I'm talking about.
I can second that one. I just went my third time now, and the first two times that I went, all I can say, the simplest way I can say it is, you don't go back the same. You don't. I don't come back to the States and look at everything the same. I just can't. I can't do it, knowing that that's going on.
And that's not just a catchphrase.
Mm.
I mean, you hear that a lot. You'll never be the same again.
No. Yeah.
Buy a new Chevy. But it's the understated reality that when you allow God to move you to a place where you're dealing with the poorest of the poor, whether that be in the Dominican Republic, in the poor Haitian villages, whether that be in Malawi, Africa, where we work, which is the poorest country in Africa. You say, why Malawi? It's the poorest country in Africa.
Mm.
And why where you're at in Mexico? Well, it's because where the cartels are taking kids and selling their body parts on the streets, on the market, right there. Why there? Because God told us to serve the poor. And Jesus spoke, and he said, you take care of the poor. And so we're just being Christians. And when you're doing that, you understand, how could Jesus live this life as, Jesus was homeless. I mean, think about it. Here's a homeless guy who's teaching us how to live happy within the kingdom. And because wherever he got up, he was doing something that mattered, that made a difference for bringing hope and help and change to people. And when you do that, you feel good about it.
Absolutely. You feel good, you feel fulfilled. I mean, knowing that that's when you do what God is actually calling you to do, it's more than you can just say, I feel good about it. You feel or at peace, you feel fulfilled doing what he's calling you to do. No, absolutely.
Sometimes I meet with people and they share with me their struggle with depression. Now, I spent my living for many years as a comedian.
Yeah.
And if you study anything about comedians, and we'll just start with Robin Williams and go down the line, you know that these are guys who have dealt with major areas of depression.
Definitely.
A lot of comedians have. And maybe I could say that too. You know some of my stories. Some of my people know my story. I have reason for that.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you what, when you're serving other people, the depression just seems to subside.
Can't second that enough. Can't second that enough.
I mean, here it is. You and I have walked together. We get on a truck. We drive 2 miles up a mountain, and all of a sudden we walk into a place that looks like hell on earth called the garbage dump. It's not like the refined garbage dumps we have here in the States. Yeah. This is a cesspool where even the human waste is brought there to be dumped. And we see people out there working who have the drive in life to continue to want to live while they're searching for food to eat from a garbage dump. They're going to take it over there and it might have been in the trash for a week, but they're going to take it out and they're going to boil it until what they boil the death out of it, because they so desire to have life. And somehow, no matter what mood I have been in going in there, all of a sudden I realize it doesn't make my problems go away, but it helps me understand how blessed I am, even in my situation. It helps me understand that, wow, I've got it pretty good. Because
Absolutely.
sometimes we forget
Yes.
how good we've got it. You know, I'm griping because, oh man, the traffic is horrible out there. I got to put up with this traffic. And I forget that I've got a car to be in this traffic. Okay. You know, oh man, it's terrible. I've got this job. I hate this job. And I forget I got a job. Okay. I've got, you know, let's go to Malawi today. Let's snap our fingers and be in Malawi. And I can line up 1,000 people in an hour who are ready to have a job, but there's no job for them. But they stay focused on life and each other and serving each other and loving each other. These Dominican folks teach me more about life than I'll ever teach them.
Absolutely. I mean, you can go to a restaurant here and think, oh man, my food's not out in 30 minutes. I'm not giving a tip. And that's the kind of mindset that, I mean, you can have because of the culture around you. I mean, but you go to the Dominican, and I like to say a joke and say, well, you get a grip about everything that's going on outside of where you are. And just the things, like you're saying, the things you can learn. I can go every year and continue to learn something every single year.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
Right. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Hey, I just noticed your microphone sounds better than my microphone. Why is that?
That's a great question.
You hear that? You hear that? Listen to that. You sound, yeah, here I am. Nice and deep in radio, and I'm over here. I sound like like an 80-year-old guy with a cold.
Well, I would say it's probably whoever is mixing this podcast. That's probably their fault. I wonder who that is.
Yeah, well, we'll have to talk to that person.
Let them know that, hey, you need to do a better job next time.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Cups Mission Podcast. We hope you've been inspired by how God is rescuing children and transforming families. If you want to learn more, get involved, or support what God is doing in the Dominican Republic, Malawi, or Mexico, visit us at cupsmission.com and see what God is doing. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might need to hear it. Until next time, keep praying that God continues all across the world.